British Prime Minister Keir Starmer is in India on his first official visit at the invitation of the Prime Minister Narendra Modi, with the biggest, largest ever business delegation comprising 125 business leaders and CEOs. The two leaders will meet in Mumbai on October 9th. The visit reciprocates Prime Minister Modi's July 2025 visit to London, which saw the signing of the landmark Comprehensive Economic and Trade Agreement. Starmer's state visit will signify an uptick in India-UK economic cooperation at a time when global geopolitics and trade face unprecedented disruptions. The India-UK relationship is robust and mutually beneficial. In May this year, it was elevated to a new level when the two PMs announced the conclusion of the India-UK FTA and Double Contribution Convention. During PM's visit to UK in July, a Comprehensive Economic and Trade Agreement, the Vision 2035 document, as well as the new Defence Industrial Roadmap were finalised. The India-UK FTA brings together the world's fifth and the sixth largest economies. The bilateral trade in goods is around, in United States dollars, 23 billion, while the trade in services around $33 billion. Total bilateral trade has already reached $56 billion, with a target to double this by 2030. Indian and British companies employ more than 650,000 people in each other's countries. In greater market access for Indian exporters, India-UK agreement provides duty-free access to approximately 99% of Indian exports by value. This supports MSMEs and boosts jobs. The strong Indian diaspora also works like a living bridge between the two countries. The Indian diaspora forms about 2.6% of the UK population. More than 65,000 companies in the UK are owned by Indian diaspora, and these contribute heavily to job creation, local economic growth, and taxes. The FTA is expected to give Indian businesses more competitive market access in focus sectors like textiles, leather, footwear, sports, toys, gems, jewelry, engineering goods, auto parts, and engines. A broad spectrum of activities are taking place to bolster India-UK defence cooperation. These include joint military exercises, port calls, defence technological cooperation, promoting Make in India, subject matter expert exchanges for exchange of best practices, defence education, and defence procurement. A defence industrial roadmap for collaboration in co-design, co-development, and co-production of defence products is expected to meet the growing demand in both countries as well as cater to the world market. A key area the two countries are working towards is developing jet engines. I'm joined by Ambassador Veena Sikri, former Indian diplomat, Jain Dasgupta, former ambassador to WTO, and Professor Scott Lucas, Professor International Politics, Clinton Institute, University College of Dublin. Let me straight away go to Ambassador Dasgupta. So, what is the strategic importance of this visit?
I think this visit is extremely important. It has Prime Minister Starmer is leading the largest ever British delegation comprising a host of sectors of businesses, and important amongst them being fintech, defense, electronics, pharma, and a few other sectors. So in all these sectors, I think that India is looking forward to greater cooperation and greater trade flows between the two countries. At the moment, the bilateral goods trade is only at about $23 billion, with the services topping it by notching up $33 billion. But it is likely to grow very fast over the next few years once the FTA or EFTA, as it has been termed, comes into force. So it is important for more than one reason. If it is taken as a standalone agreement, it is the first, so to say, apart from Japan, Korea, and a smaller one with Australia, which India has signed with a developed country. And it is a harbinger of the larger India EU FTA that is
Okay.
in the offing and which is likely to get harvested by December this year.
Okay.
So this is testing the waters in a way, but it is also a bold initiative on the part of India to give up a lot of its uh, earlier inhibitions and protectionist policies by opening up the market in a big way to a developed country. Of course, all said and done, Britain doesn't have that much of a manufacturing industry any longer. So the threat perception from the side of India was much less than it would be when it opens up to the EU,
Okay.
especially in terms of automotive sector, electronics,
Sir, I'll come
and
back to that because the debate, the
yes.
conversation has been divided into three parts. So the second part is because, though it's adjacent but equally important, the Trump's America's first nationalism has made Europe uneasy. A lot of developments are taking place in context of what Trump has done in America. Trump continues to talk about his very good relationship with China and his friendship with Xi Jinping. American economist C. Fred Bergsten first floated the idea of G2, an informal grouping made of the United States and People's Republic of China. So my question is, does Trump wants to revive a new G2 with closer ties between Washington and Beijing? So Ambassador Sikri, on this, all these bilaterals are happening in the wake of what Trump is doing. But in the larger context, is Trump pursuing G2 simply? Is it all boiling down to this?
Thank you, Karthik. I'm very glad you've raised this issue of the G2 because, in my view, this seems to be the only reason why President Trump is throwing every other country under the bus. Not only India, but his closest ally, UK. Look at the EPD, Economic Prosperity Deal, that has been concluded between US and UK. There are a lot of gaps in it. It's not a complete agreement by any means. And UK is still subject to a large amount of tariffs with which they are very uncomfortable. And also they're expected to invest a large amount in the US, which of course is not so easy either. Similarly, countries like Japan, USA is expecting a $650 billion investment from Japan in USA. South Korea, all these countries are going to have to pay tariffs plus this investment. The only country that has escaped from this is China. Of course, they had a bout of one bigger tariff than the other, but then it came down to a reasonable amount, and now it's in abeyance. And President Trump has talked very often of this big, beautiful deal that he wants to conclude with China.